Recording in progress.
Okay, thank you for participating today. We will now begin questions for Tyler. Please use the raise hand function to indicate you want to ask a question. Okay, we'll start with Ben Garrett. Ben.
Ben Garrett, the Ole Miss Spirit, 247 Sports. Tyler, man, that's your third start in like 3 years for you. And obviously, with everything you went through with Tommy John and all that, to have this moment, to have that effort in that big of a stage, what are you feeling right now?
Words can't describe right now. I'm so excited, so happy, extremely blessed for the opportunity that, I was able to get the ball tonight and shine.
For you, what was the plan? What was the approach and the attack, kind of going at that line of playing the best in the country?
Just trust everything that I have, for my three pitches, and just know that I have a great defense behind me, and just have that relationship with my catcher, and he held me tight in the head mentally, and just stay strong.
Okay, our next question comes from Nick Suss. Nick.
Tyler, did you know you had this kind of length in you?
Not really. I just inning by inning, pitch by pitch. I was just having a mentality, go out there, compete, one pitch at a time, be strong, and just, see where it takes me.
Obviously, you didn't have very much success against this Vanderbilt lineup 2 weeks ago. What changed for you that you were able to kind of mow them down super efficiently this time?
Coach B talked to me beforehand, and he said, you don't have to throw the ball harder, you don't have to throw your slider better, just execute pitches in, out, up, down, and that's how you're going to be successful. And I believed in him and trusted that, and that's what I did.
Okay, next we have John Sokoloff from WCBI. John.
Hey, Tyler. You just kind of mentioned it there, but how have you kind of seen your game progress, like obviously until this start? And you touched on it a little bit there, but what kind of was the full thing that kind of separate your game today?
If we lost, we were out of the game and out of this tournament, and we don't want to go home as a team, and we have something to prove. And everyone came with their best stuff today. The hitters came in facing a really good pitcher, Jack Leiter, and he threw a really, really good ball game, and we just came out successful, and it was awesome.
Okay, now we have Trey Mongrue from WLBT.
Tyler, how big of a day was this for you, considering that you also got into Ole Miss grad school today?
It's awesome. I'm so happy to be in Oxford for 2 more years, and especially be around this program. After that, athletic training, I'm going to be able to be around baseball, so I couldn't be more happy. And then the success today, it's truly a blessing, and I couldn't thank God enough.
Is this one of the weirdest days you ever experienced?
Yeah, I haven't I haven't had a conference start since junior college, and just to have the ball and have that trust in our coaches and my players, to be able to go out there, it's an unreal feeling.
Okay, we have a follow-up from John Sokoloff.
Oh no, I'm all set. Sorry, I just didn't lower my hand.
Trey, do you have another question?
No, I did the exact same thing.
Okay, Tyler, I think we're all set. Thank you for your time.
Thank y'all so much.
Okay, we have Kevin Graham here. If you have any questions, please raise your hand and I'll get to you. Okay, Kevin, we're going to start with Ben Garrett. Ben?
Kevin, you've been around Tyler for a long time, man. You know what he's been through and everything he's had to come back from. To see him have that day and that performance, just from your vantage point, what was it like for you?
Yeah, that was awesome to watch. So proud of him. The way he's worked since last fall when he got hurt. I mean, I haven't seen anyone work harder that I've played with ever in my life. So for him to come out there and pitch like that was a really special moment.
That's 3 straight days. I mean, y'all know what y'all going to get from Doug, but 3 straight days where y'all had incredible pitching performances from guys that y'all need to step up from an offensive standpoint and just confidence moving forward into the regional. How big of a boost is that for you, do you think?
Yeah, come postseason time, you need guys to step up, and I mean they're all fully capable, but this time of year, the little extra pressure at postseason can really elevate guys' games, and it's been fun to watch. We really need it.
Okay, we have John Sokoloff from WCBI.
Hey, Kevin. Just with the combination of how you guys are playing here with the last few weekends, how they went of the regular season, do you think you guys are starting to peak right now? And do you think you're playing your best baseball of the year as a team?
I wouldn't say a peak. I mean, I think this has been us all year. We've had some tough breaks there in the middle of the season, but we played well all year. Just couldn't finish off a few games, but we're finally starting to finish those off and keep rolling.
Okay, next is Nick Suss.
Kevin, I think you've been to Hoover twice and you've won 6 or 7 elimination games. Just what do you guys do to kick it into gear to kind of win these games, to stave off elimination and stay in the tournament?
That's what postseason baseball is all about. Win or go home. And our team loves that. We thrive under that pressure. And, I think guys just elevate their game when they know they might be going home the next day.
There's always a debate about whether this tournament matters and whether teams should try to win or try and save for regionals. What about this tournament matters to you guys?
Oh, I mean, if you're going to come here, why aren't you going to try to win? Of course it matters.
Thanks, Kevin.
And we're back to Trey Monger.
Kevin, this is a park through the years where potential home run balls go to die. Does how big this park plays intimidate you at all, as here you are for your second straight game with the homer?
No, and actually it carries pretty well out of here, especially during the day. You got a wind blowing out a lot of the times, and the heat. I mean, it plays a lot smaller than it is.
Nick, do you have another question?
No, I don't. Sorry.
Okay, Kevin, I think that's all we have for you. Thank you for joining us. Good afternoon, Coach. If you have a question for Coach Bianco, please use the raise hand function to indicate you want a question asked. And when I call on you, please remember to state your name and affiliation first. Coach, before we take questions, if you will please give us your general thoughts on the game.
Just very proud, of the guys, especially Tyler. I know our beat writers know his story, and it's probably already been asked to him. But for a guy that had Tommy John surgery a little over a year ago, right before last year's season, and battled back from that, and has been a important part and important piece of our bullpen. But his year, like a lot of guys from surgery, has been up and down. He's had some really good outings, and he's had some outings where he struggled a little bit. But he was outstanding today against one of the best offenses in our league, and of course, I thought offensively it's tough to muster much against Leiter. He's just so good, one of the best I've ever seen, and in our league. And but I thought our guys really worked to grind out some ABs and made it hard on them, especially in the early innings. Not just the inning that we scored a couple runs, but through maybe the first 4 or 5. Unfortunately, he got pretty efficient there at the end and was able to stay in the game maybe longer than we thought he would be. But again, just really proud of our guys.
Okay, we'll start with Ben Garrett.
Ben Garrett, the Ole Miss Spirit 247 Sports. Mike, you touched on it, but Tyler's story, I mean, that's 3 starts in 3 years. He had Tommy John. He's been through a lot, and you've been with him through the whole process and seen what he's gone through. So for you, just to see him have that moment, How cool is it for you as a
Well,
coach?
you know, in our profession, that's the coolest, right? And winning trophies and games are awesome, but you know what keeps you young and what makes you want to do this in the good days and bad days are guys like Tyler, right? The guys that you watch him go through so much adversity and handle it. I mean, he's handled it so well. Through the rehab, COVID, all the other things, and a guy that's got a giant smile. You know, Ben, you've seen him, for a few years now. Just a giant smile, just a guy that brings positive energy every single day that he shows up. And you had no doubt when he got injured he'd be back, but you just don't know what. And in tournament time, you need guys like this. They call it the step up. But guys that maybe weren't thought to be the star, or guys that you thought that you would lean on in a tournament, and then when you look up, heck, you get 7 plus innings from a guy that's been a reliever basically the whole year.
And you knew you were going to get to this point at some point. If you made a run in the tournament, you'd have to pick a fourth starter. So for him, what made him the right call for you, and what was the plan to attack Vandy?
Well, I think a couple things. One, he's the guy that's done it before, even though he's mainly a reliever, and he's been mainly a reliever in his career. But he's an older veteran guy. You knew that he would compete. You knew that against a really good club in Vandy, that he would attack him. The plan was, just to, like you've heard, the proverbial, keep them off balance, try to throw, fastballs in, fastballs away, mix in his breaking ball and change up. And, he was as sharp as I've seen him, probably in his career today, and just, made them really uncomfortable, I think, offensively.
Okay, we have Nick Suss.
Hey, Mike, Nick Suss, Clarion Ledger. I asked Kevin about this, but just 6 or 7 elimination game wins in Hoover in the last 2 trips. What's the message to the guys before a game like this? Because obviously it's not true elimination. There's a postseason afterwards, but you're still trying to win the tournament.
Well, no doubt, and it's one of the things that it's kind of that dry run, right, before you start the NCAA tournament. And we talked about it going into this week, where it's the first time. The season's really broken up into 3 segments, 3 different seasons. You have the first season, which is that non-conference 4 weeks, and then you start conference play, and that's like the second season. And then the third season, obviously, is the most important, postseason. And the neat thing about postseason, and the difference, as you mentioned, is one, the elimination, right, where there's going to be games where if you lose, you're done. But the other thing is that you play games you don't know after the game. You don't know what time you're going to play the next day or who you're going to play, likely yesterday. And so even though we thought we knew what time we were going to play, then you get a call from the SEC and they said weather, and now you're going to bump it up. And of course you find out late that you're going to play a really good team in Vanderbilt. And so these types of environments, I think, really prepare you for postseason. I think that's why so many teams in the Southeastern Conference do so well. And I'm proud of our guys for, especially the last few years, we've played well here.
I know this is committee question, not Mike Bianco question, but how much of the emphasis this week was improving that resume, trying to get into that top 8? Have you talked about that at all with your team?
Not at all. Not at all. And I don't mean that as coaches speak, but Nick, it's not worth the energy. It's not worth the distraction. We realize that that's part of it. I think, especially as coaches, you realize, the better that you play here, the longer that you stay here. Obviously, your RPI goes up because you're playing great teams with great records, with great RPIs. But it is your resume. The committee gets to watch you play, against the best teams in the country. But no, I think it's just wasted energy to, focus anything on that. That's up to 10 members in Indianapolis.
Okay, if there are additional questions, please use your raise hand function now. Okay, we're going back to John Sokoloff.
Hey, Mike, John Sokoloff with WCBI in Columbus. I just wanted to know if there was an update on or Tim Elko. I know obviously he left the game after getting hit by that pitch. You might not have an update, but how was he doing after that?
It wasn't being hit by the pitch. What happens to Tim with the ACL is when he has to hop when he's not prepared to hop, when he's got to move in a direction where he's not really prepared to do, that it kind of moves a little bit on him, and it bothers him for about 10 minutes or so. And so that's happened a couple times. But that's, trying to avoid the pitch and kind of shuffling backwards or hopping backwards. So it was really the knee more than it was, the pitch. And he's okay. Talk to him. I'm sorry. He's okay. To talk to him after the game.
Okay, we're going to Trey Mongeru.
Yeah, Mike, Trey Mongeru, WLBT. I don't know if you've said it yet, but you may have your pitching plans for tomorrow?
No, I have not, and we haven't announced that. And wait till we get back to the hotel and meet with the coaches and make a decision at that point.
And Nick Suss again.
Like off-field question, but with Pulmonary retiring today, obviously you've played against him for a long time. You've got a son on his team. Just thoughts on Paul? You've known him forever. Just wishing him into retirement.
Yeah, I heard it, just a little bit ago, and it was a shocker for me, and I'm sure it was a shocker for, a lot of people in college baseball. And, Paul's a great coach and has had a great career, 1,500 wins. Just think about that for a second, 1,500 wins. I know all of us in the Southeastern Conference, the 13 other coaches, wish him the best, and, the way he's represented not just LSU, but the Southeastern Conference, and, just a tremendous career.
Okay, that's all we have for you today, Coach. Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you.
A reminder, a full transcript will be provided by ASAP Sports, and you can find a recording of this press conference in the SEC Media Portal.
I'm gonna steal another one.